It is a sad day. We certainly couldn't have predicted 30 years ago this would happen because the internet didn't really exist. But the Independent will have some sort of future life. We don't know what that's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be a great one. But obviously there are uncertainties.
I mean, frankly, looking at the performance of online and the revenues people are getting from it, do you think the Independent or its spin-off, The Eye, which is going to continue, we understand, as a paper and possibly a website as well, really have much of a bright future?
Well, I think The Eye is a separate issue. I think it'll probably be fine. I care more about the Independent because that's what I helped to start. I mean, there is a problem with advertising on the internet. Even the biggest players like Mail Online are fighting hard to get advertising. And the worry is that as things stand, online newspapers won't be able to sustain the kind of journalistic staff that traditional print newspapers have because they won't have the revenue. But we don't know what it'll be like in 3 or 4 years' time. We're in a transition period. But that is certainly one big worry about online newspapers.
I mean, there are those people who say no one under 30 ever buys a physical newspaper. They simply won't be around in 20 years' time. What do you think?
Well, I think that's probably true. I think the Independent is the first of probably many newspapers which will sooner or later, and I think in some other cases quite soon, will go online. And that is going to have profound implications on their ability of these new online newspapers to provide, if they can provide, the kind of journalistic resources that papers have in the past. I mean, it should be said, by the way, that I think for a lot of people under 30 who are now reading online, this announcement about the Independent stopping printing is in a way beside the point, because for them the Independent already only exists online. They're not interested in the print version. But of course, there are older readers, such as myself, who will mourn the passing of the print edition.
Let's talk about the Independent newspaper as was, or as soon will be was. Has it achieved what it set out to do when you and Andreas Whittam-Smith launched it?
Well, I think the answer to that it hasn't completely. I mean, I think in its time it was a great success. It sold at its height well over 400,000. It made a lot of waves. It made a lot of other newspapers, its competitors, the Times, the Telegraph, and Guardian, a lot better, by the way. By introducing more competition into the market, and it also improved things like photography, newspaper photography. It reintroduced fine writing into newspapers. Some of those things have survived. Some of them survive even in the Independent. I wish it was still selling 400,000, but the world has changed.
But the model of quotes independence, that evaporated fairly quickly. They've been a successor of fairly traditional.
It did, and I think. I mean, and I think we were a little naive. We believed that it was possible to exist without a proprietor or a big publishing company. And I think the evidence of the last 30 years is that it's not. I think you do need a big publishing company with vast resources behind you. I mean, one of the decisive events in the Independent's life was when Rupert Murdoch in 1993 cut the price actually almost by half of the Times. And at that time, the Independent and the Times were selling roughly the same copies. The Independent then fell off a circulation cliff because we didn't have the resources to match what Murdoch could do. And I think you do need, in a very competitive newspaper world, you do need very deep pockets, which a newspaper founded by journalists simply didn't have.
What for you are the proudest moments of the newspaper?
I'm proud of so many things. I'm proud of the newspaper in its early days when it was brave and did things which other papers didn't do, when it broke stories, when, for example, when nobody else had dared do it, it published Peter Wright's book Spycatcher about the shenanigans at MI5. I'm proud of the foreign correspondence that we have, the coverage we did, the high standard of the journalism which we set. And I'm hopeful, by the way. I mean, I think those things still exist in some measure in the paper, in significant measure in the paper, and there's no reason why they shouldn't online. I don't think we should talk about the Independent being in the past. I mean, it's got a future, and it's already, I think, I'm right in saying, the 7th or 8th biggest online newspaper in the English-speaking world. So it's already established. The danger, though, of online newspapers is that they tend to be more dumbed down than their print counterparts, and that's one other worry what I would have about the Independent's future online. I'd like it to maintain its high editorial standards.
Stephen Glover, thank you very much for joining us.